Final week, unlike any other, we tend not to be so consumed with the finer points of our beloved sport. It's not really a time for harping on squad selections, soft shoulders, or scrum shenanigans. It's more a time for silly superstitions or scrolling through superfluous stats that 1 minute make you believe your team's name is on the cup and the next tell you there's no chance at all. Final week is not a time for logic. It's time for being a fan. And according to the bookies at the time of recording, there's nothing between the two sides. So all we can do is continue to survive the week as best as we can until it all literally kicks off. Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show Champions Cup special. And what makes it special is that we have not one but two from our elite squad of contributors with us looking ahead to Saturday's showpiece match in London. A warm welcome to Mr. Neil Keego Keegan, earning cap number 84, and Keego and RugbyKino Muller, who's on number 35. Welcome, gents.
How are we? I'm not nervous.
That's just nerves. What a nerves. I have no idea. Okay, well, listen, before I played the intro there, I played a little clip from a TikTok I did a few days ago all about how we fans try to survive the week leading up to a final. So maybe starting with yourself, Keego, how did you manage it?
I'm still managing it. It's on a minute-by-minute basis. I am not managing this well. I've been trying to sleep more, but I've ended up drinking too much coffee. I have not slept in 2 days. I've more baggage under my eyes than a Ryanair flight. I really don't know what I'm going to do for the next 24 and a bit hours. I've no idea how I'm going to survive.
That's that for other readers, that bit is 24 hours and 34 minutes and 25 seconds. But who's counting? Kino, what have you been up to?
I'm absolutely fine. No bother at all. As of yesterday, I'm an absolute fucking mess, frankly. As the game gets closer, it's the reality of what's at stake that really hits you. I think it's kind of the day before is the worst day. Kind of okay on the day of, it's the day before. It's there's a weight of expectation and necessity on both of these teams, and their supporters. It's the biggest prize in club rugby. Yeah. Top of that, Leinster looking to break that 3 consecutive semi-final finals monkey off the back end for Toulouse about breaking the record of 4 losses against Leinster. So it's massive for the teams, but Jesus, I'm feeling it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jesus, it's mad. But at least this is one of the reasons we're doing things like this, just to help pass the time and get us through the week, But listen, this isn't
the podcast, it's therapy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, listen, let's have a look at that feature match of the week anyway, which involves 2 longtime rivals meeting in London for a major trophy, and neither of which comes from Manchester. I am, of course, talking about Leinster v Toulouse in the final of the 2023-24 Investec Champions Cup. It's taking place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday, May 25th, kicking off at 2:45 p.m. TV coverage in Ireland is on RTE2, TNT Sports, et si vous préférez votre commentaire en français, il est également diffusé pour TV5 Monde.
Bless you.
I practiced that 100 times, still made a balls. But anyway, as ever, you can find the full listings for the weekend over at harpinonrugby.com. Just click the Rugby on TV tab. Leinster named their match day 23 at lunchtime on Friday. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there on the screen, or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Well, first, we'll go to you, Kino. What stands out for you from that selection?
Right. Well, as expected, it's a 6-2 split with Keenan coming straight into fullback and Ryan on a powerful looking bench. Ringrose, unfortunately, not back in time, but Osborne's been going really nicely with Henshaw. So, it's an amazing opportunity for him to really stamp his mark on the Leinster side. Larmour keeps the spot on the wing. Well deserved, in my opinion. He's undergone something of a renaissance under Neil Aber's system, and is kind of really adding some defensive bite to his already prodigious offensive skill set. There's still a bit of a worry in the air, but hopefully that'll be handled on the day. McCarthy and Jenkins in the second row went very well versus La Rochelle. I'd expect very similar. Baird be calling the line out. Hopefully keep it simple enough. Jenkins went very well in the line out on the day, actually. So hopefully he can do that again. It's a lot of firepower in the scrum, ruck and the carry, which is lovely to see. I think Connors is there to do a job on the heavy carriers, specifically Niafu. Needs to cut them down, minimize their offloading game, which is a big part of the Toulouse game. As Mark pointed out on Kaelan's pod yesterday, I think we're going to be running at Dupont to try and tie him into rucks. That's probably how they're going to try and keep him quiet, looking at the way it's come out in the selection. Healy gets the nod over Milne on the bench. Probably the right call, experience in what will be likely a very tight game to the death. You got some level of impact coming off the bench with Ryan Cohn and Van der Fleer likely to be sprung at the same time. I've got a feeling we won't see timed releases for Frawley and McGrath off the bench. I think they'll probably keep their powder dry with them just in case of emergency, break glass, if there's any injuries in the backs. And other than that, the TLDR is, that loaded 6-2 might just be what we need to avoid the kind of second half slumps that have really cost us over the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. It's very close to the 23 that we predicted. We thought maybe Van der Fleer would get the start. It was sort of touch and go between, but obviously they have a specific role, like you say, for Connors. And Jenkins has had a great season, and it's amazing. It's great to see him in the team. I think he's deserved it. I think he's put in loads of minutes and loads of games over the season for us this year, and really earned that spot. And to be, like you say, to be able to bring Ryan Van der Fleer and all that off the bench at the right time is really good. What do you think, Keego?
Absolutely. There's beef everywhere. Delighted for Jenkins. The bench, which we've spoken about previously, Jeff, where it's kind of maybe waned a little bit in previous games, looking at Croker against Northampton. The bench is strong. And just to show you how nervous I am, I just checked my Fitbit, currently in the fat burning zone. So, you know what I mean? I'm getting in shape for the holiday just by thinking about this game. But no, it's the beef everywhere. You can see the work they're expecting the pack to do by the back row that's going to come on, and the amount of caps in that back row. It'd be very easy to put Van der Fleer in there to start because he is Van der Fleer. But imagine tiring out the opposition and you see these fresh legs coming on. And it's not just regular fresh legs. This is Player of the Year fresh legs. This is Conan from Beautiful Bray, fresh legs coming on. So it is a really smart way to run this game.
Yeah, it's definitely looking good. I mean, it's a good selection all around, and it's no more than we can do at this stage. It's all about what they do on the day. Okay, so now it's time to have a look at the Toulouse lineup. Now, you probably don't need me to tell you anything about their pedigree, but just to be thorough, I'll point out that not only do they have 5 European titles in the top 14, as well as being the reigning champions, they currently sit in first place with 2 rounds left. They even finished as top seeds in the Champions Cup pool phase before going on to defeat Racing, Exeter, and Harlequins on the way to this final. So needless to say, Kino, not an easy task.
No, this is not a gimme at all. Their backline has been electric this season. I mean, Bordeaux have been kind of talk of the town throughout the Champions Cup rounds, but kind of faltered then towards the end. But it's hard to fault Toulouse's backline. Entomac has been key to that, as well as Dupont. Obviously, his vision control is brilliant. He works so well in combination with Dupont. Their blend of tactical kicking and running threat is just it's really amazing. They've got some pack to go along with it as well. You got Mavak and Niafu by starting. You've got Marchand come off the bench. Their line out and scrum has been solid throughout the season, and they use it well as a platform for their attacking plays. And Niafu's physical presence and Mavaka's skills at hooker give them a really strong platform. Then you got kind of versatile players in the back line. You got like Mathis Lebel and Thomas Ramos, very versatile players. Ramos's kicking game and ability to play both fullback and fly half adds depth, though they don't really need it. I think with the 5-3 they've gone for. Lebel's pace and finishing ability is brilliant. He's a danger man for them. It was interesting then to see them favor Kinghorn over Ramos for the start for this. I think it's an indication that they are going to be looking to keep this close. I'm going to maybe go into that a little bit in more detail later on. Then turnovers. They have
maybe you'll have some numbers to go with that.
Oh, what, me? Numbers? No, maybe. Turnovers. They got multiple turnover threats. You got the likes of Willis, Novak, and Marchand are great over the ball. You give them any sniff of a poach opportunity, they're going to get over it, and they're going to be very, very hard to sift. So it's going to be an interesting matchup that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen just in the last few weeks, like against the likes of even Ospreys, Northampton, Ulster, if you give them a little bit of chance in transition, that they're going to, they know that that's pretty much their only chance to hurt Leinster before we can have any chance of settling with our defense. This Toulouse side does that anyway, and that's part of their brand. So we're going to have to look out for that. It's interesting what you say about their bench. They've got the likes of Ramos on the bench. We talked about we may be holding back on our backs. very much doubt that Toulouse will be doing that. They'll be looking on to bring on different variations in that second half and give us different looks. So it's a big contrast there. What do you think, Keego?
Yeah, listen, skill for skill, it's an immense task, and it's what we want in a championship final. The two best teams, even though we got our blue underwear on, we want to beat the best, and that's what's happening. And we'll be talking about the kind of psychology behind it down the line, but there is an extra little thing between the ears of the opposition this weekend. This is, and I'll talk about it in a bit, but we are there, La Rochelle, and there is a lot to be said for they know what they have to do to beat Leinster, because they've been beaten on numerous occasions recently. So we need to know that we have it in us to perform at the level that we have done in bits and pieces. And for the La Rochelle game being a great example, but we need to go past that, because this is the opposition that we wanted to face. So it's between the ears on both teams. When you're at the elite levels, that's where the big battle is. Everyone knows what they have to do. It's a matter of executing under the spotlights.
Yep, definitely. You won't get two better skillful and well prepared teams in this competition. The top two seeds, all sorts. The two most. They've won the most trophies. Strangely, never met in a final. I don't understand how that works out. But it's so all that leaves is what happens on the day. Who shows up on the day? Which I keep saying is that's a cup final as nature intended. So it's all really looking to be good. Okay, so quick look at the officials there. Matthew Carley holds the whistle. The assistants are Carl Dixon and Andrea Piardi. And since the TMO's name is Ian Tempest, that brings me nicely onto the weather, which for Tottenham on Saturday afternoon is to be 20 degrees, partly sunny, not too much wind, not too much rain. Seems like perfect conditions there. If that pans out, they had a lot of rain there during the week in London, I know, but hopefully that stays away. And this is now usually a part of the show where we have a quick look at the other rugby going on this weekend. But with all apologies to the fans of Gloucester, the Sharks, Super Rugby, maybe even City and United as well, as far as we're concerned, there is no other sport this weekend. So what I've done instead is I've asked some of our regular contributors to offer their thoughts on Saturday's match. So take it away, lads.
Hi, Jeff. Just a couple of thoughts as promised ahead of Saturday's final. I think that, heading into this final, just getting to the final and getting to where we are at the season, given Johnny Sexton retiring, Stuart Lancaster leaving, new coach coming in, new defensive systems coming in, that this season is already a success story. Obviously, we want to win the fifth star and many more, in the future. But the reality is that I think Toulouse are in better nick than us at the moment for those reasons I've just mentioned. But La Rochelle were the underdogs last season, and we all know what happened there. So all this underdog business I think suits us better anyway. Looking forward to the final. Looking forward to hopefully lifting that fifth, Heineken Cup. Or Champions Cup, and having a fifth star on the jersey. Come on, Leinster. They most certainly have the personnel to do this. And when we turn up on the day, we're pretty much unplayable. So let's hope, fingers crossed, tightly crossed, wearing lucky cap from 2011 at the Millennium as it was then when we beat Saints. So come on, Leinster. Let's go and win this bastard thing.
Hey, Jeff. Well, the day is nearly upon us. Nerves very much in full swing here in the Longhouse. I guess first, I hope the match kind of lives up to the billing, right? Two absolutely savage squads. It's the Champions Cup final. It deserves to be the big one. We've taken our licks out of the last couple of seasons, so I think this Leinster squad is probably ready to go out there and do something special. They certainly won't be lacking for the hunger of it. And just want to wish the lads the best of luck. Hope all the listeners and all the fans and everyone just has a decent day. Enjoy the pints, and I guess there's nothing really else to be said. But pretty much.
Hey everyone, another massive weekend for Leinster Rugby this weekend. Great to be in another final, but I think this year we need to make sure that it's our final this time. We've been to, this will be our 8th final, won 4. So really hopeful we're coming out of the end of this with a 5th star. It's a massive ask for the lads, and I know we've been Toulouse's bogey team for some time, but there's only so long you can be somebody's bogey team. Just ask La Rochelle and their situation this year with us. So whether you're watching it in a pub in Dublin, whether you're watching it in your local rugby club, whether you happen to be pitch side in Tottenham, or if you'll be watching it poolside like I will be, let's get behind the boys. Come on, Leinster.
I considered doing this like a professional wrestling promo, but I decided against it. It feels like European rugby history has built up to this one in a lot of ways. Just a big milestone. Toulouse and Leinster never met in the final. Toulouse, the Galacticos, the Real Madrid in European rugby. Leinster, so often a dominant powerhouse in the early stages, but recently just haven't been able to get over the line. 2 best teams in the competition this year, but despite that, both nearly came undone in the semi-final. So it's going to be a big mental game, I think, big psychological factor to this game. Who can kind of deal with the occasion, who can hold their own. 2 best scrum halves in the game. Looking forward to that at the moment. And as well, 6-2 split for Leinster. That's what we've been doing building towards all season. I think it's going to be all about who can beat each other up in the last 20 minutes. It's going to be a tight edge game, and then who can beat each other up last 20 minutes. Leinster against Toulouse. Let's get that 5th star.
We have the blueprint to beat this lot. We've done it twice. I hope nothing changes off it. I hope we're not too defensive. I just want to see Leinster go for it. If it's a stupid cricket score, so be it. We have enough in the tank to win. I hope we do. I think we'll do. But don't be afraid. Absolutely no fear. Go for it. We got this.
And thanks so much to all the lads for recording those for us. Right. So it's head on the block time. Keego, starting with yourself. How do you see it going?
I am hoping for Leinster to start strong and aggressive, controlled aggression, so that ghost gets into the opposition's ears, gets into their eyes, gets into their soul, and they start worrying a little bit. It's going to be close. Usually when it's close, I always say for me, I've always thought Frawley's going to have a big moment in this campaign, another big moment. So I think it's going to be a kick. I think it's going to be a late kick, and I think we're going to see our back row come on and bring the momentum back towards us after all that war of attrition that they've done. I think Ryan's going to come on and do a job. I think it's Leinster by 3 or Leinster by 5.
Cool. And Kino's going to use numbers to make us feel really confident that this is going to go well. Come on, hit us, man.
I might have left my really confident numbers in my briefcase. Okay, bit of Champions Cup finals history time through numbers. Okay, on neutral ground, Leinster have won 4, lost none. On true neutral ground, where neither team has country advantage, Toulouse have won 3 and lost 1. Leinster's average winning score against teams who are not in their league in the final is 22-17. Toulouse's equivalent is 21-18. And this is because they've only ever beaten one non-French team in the Champions Cup final, which is Cardiff, 21-18 in 1996. Toulouse's highest ever score in the Champions Cup final is 22. Their lowest winning score ever was 18. Leinster's highest was 42 versus Ulster that time, and their lowest was 15 in Bilbao. Going on this, if history is anything to go by at all, this is going to be a race of defences, not attacks. And as we all know, that is a truism of rugby, is that defence wins games, and especially knockout final rugby is won by defences. I think that at its best, Leinster's defence can better Toulouse's attack. It's going to come down to a single score. Be it a try, or more likely, penalty in the last 10. I'm going to say Leinster by 2.
Oh, very good, very good. Because I mean, in our WhatsApp group, I think Mark Jackson had it he said 34-20, which I love to go with that. I love that, and I'm keeping that with me at all times up until tomorrow. But the 1 point, the 2 point, the 3 points sounds more realistic, and it's not good for the heart. Yeah. Keego.
I was about to say, you've just said it for me. Just listening to Kino there, my Fitbit is now in the peak zone, so I'm about to have a heart attack, and we're a day away. But yeah, it's going to be far too close, lads. I might lose all remaining brownie points during this game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, all right. But listen, we're gonna have to survive it somehow. Listen, lads, we're gonna leave it there. Many thanks for joining us again. And all I can say now is good luck with the nerves between now and kickoff. And I'll see you both on the other side. Thanks, lads.
Cheers.
And
Cheers. Bye.
many thanks to y'all for checking out this special preview show. If you can also tune in to Dublin South 93.9 FM around 5 p.m. on Friday for all our Harp and Rugby segment. Then be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are. You can follow us on the usual social media channels. We will, of course, have a wrap pod for you this week, recording on Monday evening this time. Whatever happens, we'll probably need another 24 hours to recover. So hopefully you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán, and come on, Munster.